Hello and welcome to a new HYMO track guide series I'm gonna be doing on my channel. I'm gonna cover all of the ACC tracks one by one. I'm gonna try to follow LFM calendar. So we're starting off with IMOLA. Probably a really anticipated series of videos on my channel. Many requests and many people asking me to do some track guides. So finally here we are. For all the tracks I'm gonna use the Porsche, my favorite car. That's probably not gonna be a surprise. And all of the setups I'm gonna be using, those are gonna be HYMO setups. Mainly I've done them all, and you can get those setups right now at HYMO on tracktitan.io. So if you want a really good setup for IMOLA for this week of LFM, you can head over to Track Titan and pick up an IMOLA setup for whatever car you want. It could be a Porsche, it could be any other car, or if you want you can buy entire pack, entire bundle for your favorite car with all the tracks included in the pack. Anyway, let's talk IMOLA. Really nice track, very popular in ACC, really good for racing. Track always produces great sprint and endurance races. Really nice feel to it. I really like it myself. I wasn't always a fan of it, but it really grew on me recently. A lot of technical, challenging but rewarding corners. There's gonna be a lot of corners where it's gonna be all about the commitment. Sector 1 especially, also very famous Aqua Minerale corner. And of course IMOLA is gonna be all about the curbs and how you use those curbs. How do you use the track, where you can extend track limits for your advantage. But a lot of the times it's gonna be really tricky, with it just being very easy in a lot of corners to invalidate the lap, or go just tiny bit too much and hit a deadly sausage on the outside of the corner. So it's gonna be all about commitment and how you use those curbs, how you use those track limits. So I'm gonna go through each corner, show you all the major references, braking points, what line to take, where, gear, and so on. And also gonna touch on how to attack those curbs at IMOLA and how to get the most out of that track. So let's go. So braking for turn 1. I want you to try to spot 100 meter board as well as the exit road on the right and the moment that exit road meets the track, and also look into the distance and spot where the curb on the right starts. You want to aim to brake basically in between where that curb in the distance starts and where that exit road meets the road. So as you're gonna be approaching 100 meter board, you're gonna aim for that braking point. Hard braking down to third gear and start bringing the car to the inside to hit the first apex. Look for the sausages on the inside. You just want to barely touch one of them with the inside tires. That's how much you want to take them, but don't do it more, otherwise it's gonna be very easy to unsettle the car. Position the car for the transition in the middle of the road. Aggressive transition to the right, take same amount of curb as in part 1 of the chicane, and open up the steering on the exit. Start gaining forward momentum as early as possible, just making sure that you can do the last part of the chicane flat, and the last part of the chicane, similar story, same amount of curb on the inside, and use all the road on the exit. But remember not to go into the sand. If you touch the sand, you're gonna lose all the exit speed and it's gonna be really bad. After another Temporello, there's a Villeneuve chicane. Extremely difficult entry on the first part. It requires a lot of commitment. Down into 4th gear, flick the car in, watch out for the rear stepping out, and keep to the inside. As you're slowing down throughout the entire first part of the corner, keep to the inside, slowing down the car to open up the second part of the corner. Throughout all the track, as you can see, the story of the sausages is the same. Try to get as close to them as possible, as close as you dare, but don't go over them. Down to 3rd gear, you can even downshift to 2nd if you want tiny bit more rotation, and flick the car to the right, aiming for the second apex, and accelerate as early as possible to the exit, trying to use all the road. Again, watch out for the sand on the exit. Bring the car over to the right hand side of the track and look for the 50 meter board, as well as try to spot the little white mark on the right side of the road. As you're passing by it, right at that point, go on the brakes and brake diagonally towards the apex of the corner. Bring the car into the inside of the corner quite early, there's a lot of grip there. Trail brake into the apex, and then as early as possible, go on the power while releasing the steering to the outside of the corner. If you're able to put all the power down really early, you can just use all the exit curb with absolutely no problem. Some cars on the straight approaching Piratella will have to upshift to 5th gear, some cars you'll be able to just stay in 4th. Piratella is gonna be all about how much speed you can carry through it without extending the track limits on the exit. Approaching the corner, you can see the 50-meter board as well as a patch of grass on the right hand side that's a little bit more yellow than the rest. You can use that as your reference for braking. Downshift to 3rd gear and flick the car into the corner, trying to carry as much speed as possible. Watch out again for stability, the rear can get a little bit loose. Through the next sequence of corners, track limits are gonna be defined by the curb. The curb will consist of like 2 parts. The first part is gonna be very smooth, looking like an Italian flag, and the second part is gonna be way more rough and is going up and down, up and down, up and down. It's green and white. As long as you have at least 2 tires on the smooth part that looks like an Italian flag, you're gonna be all fine. Watch out, it could get a little bit bouncy on the exit here if you touch the curb with the underbody. Next up is legendary Acqua Minerale, an extremely difficult entry that requires a lot of commitment and trying to carry as much speed as possible. Open up the corner on the entry and reduce the speed a tiny bit. Sometimes you'll have to brake, sometimes you can just lift and maybe stabilize the car a little bit with the throttle. Minimize the steering input. Stability and having the rear planted here is the key. When the car finally hits the compression and gets pressed into the ground, brake fully in as straight line as possible. You can use a tiny bit of curb on the outside, but only the smooth part. Downshift to 2nd gear and trail brake into the apex. There's a lot of time to be gained here if you're able to carry a lot of speed for entire section, but remember that you want to have clean exit. You don't want to invalidate your lap by going wide on the exit, and you certainly don't want to go over those sausages and potentially bottom out there and go flying. Bring the car over to the left side of the road and prepare for heavy braking. You're gonna be aiming to brake at the 50-meter board right as the curb on the left starts. Try to cut as much as possible of the first curb on the right, decelerating throughout entire first part of the chicane. Release the steering as you're coming off the first curb to make sure that the car is gonna settle down, and transition and try to cut as much of the second part as you can. Again, track limits here throughout the entire chicane are the same as there were on Piratella and Acqua Minerale, so at least 2 tires have to be on that part of curb that's colored with the Italian flag colors. Be patient with the throttle here. Wait for the car to clear the second curb and only then go on the power. Release the steering to the outside of the corner, but make sure you don't go over track limits and don't really touch the sausages on the outside, as they're gonna unsettle the car and hurt your acceleration. Last 2 corners. If you have good run out of the chicane, this is gonna be a good place to overtake, but make sure not to outbrake yourself. You're gonna be looking for a 100-meter board, and right as you're passing by it, you're gonna slam on the brake 100% in a straight line. You're gonna also be looking just where the tire mark, where the rubber is on the road, and right after the rubber starts, then you go on the brakes. It's kinda hard to say definitely where the braking point is, but I'm sure you're gonna get a feel for it. Downshift down to 2nd gear and trail brake into the apex. You can use all the road on the exit, that's gonna also open up the next corner for you. Last corner. From the very outside of the curb, flick the car to the inside of the road, going for kind of a late apex. Go early on the power and prioritize the exit here. Power as early as possible, but watch out, there's sand again on the outside. If you touch it, it's gonna hurt your acceleration and you're gonna suffer throughout entire main straight that's very, very long. Shortest run to the line, and that was a lap of IMOLA. That was a 140.2, almost 40.1, and out of fuel on the line. I'm gonna now roll the footage so you can see the full lap in full speed. So that's the track guide complete. Let me know down in the comments what do you think of the track guides, what do you think of the format. Of course, that's the first one I was doing. I'm not really that good with editing, so I'm sure later down the line, as I'm gonna be doing more of those, they're gonna get better. Also, let me know what do you think about our new HYMO livery on the Porsche. I think it looks really nice. Yeah, definitely a lot more of those coming into the future. So if you wanna see them, don't forget to subscribe. Also, make sure to check out HYMO setups and TrackTitan at tracktitan.io. And also, using TrackTitan and their amazing lap comparison app, you can compare your own lap that you do with my lap that is recorded on TrackTitan and available for comparison. If you want more info about that, join our HYMO Hideout Discord. We're gonna help you. I'm gonna post all the links in the description so you can find it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the track guide, leave a like, and I hope to see you in the next one.